Hello viewers, I'm your host Lipakshi Khurana with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin. With the 28th session of the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change or COP28, which has started on November 30th in the United Arab Emirates. The conference, running from November 30th to December 12th, welcomed more than 70,000 delegates from around the globe in a bid to work out a worldwide solution to the pressing climate issues. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered his address at the opening session of the summit. Our report.
The 28th session of the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change or COP28 started on November 30 in the United Arab Emirates. The conference, running from November 30 to December 12, welcomed more than 70,000 delegates from around the globe in a bid to work out a worldwide solution to the pressing climate issues. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the COP28 meeting in Dubai on December 1. Taking to X, PM Modi said that he was looking forward to engage in meaningful dialogues and collaborations for a sustainable future. PM Modi met with UAE Vice President and other leaders on COP28 sidelines and delivered his address at the opening session of the summit.
हमारा लक्ष्य 2030 तक एमिशंस इंटेंसिफाई को 45% घटाना है। हमने तय किया है कि नॉन फॉसिल फ्यूल का शेयर हम बढ़ाकर 50% करेंगे और हम 2070 तक नेट जीरो के लक्ष्य की तरफ भी बढ़ते रहेंगे।
Delivering his address, PM Modi proposed to host COP33 in India in 2028. PM Modi said that India is committed to work towards UN framework for climate change process. PM Modi also proposed Green Credit initiative that focuses on creating carbon sinks through people's participation. A carbon sink is an area that absorbs more carbon than it releases.
आज मैं इस फोरम से एक और प्रो प्लैनेट, प्रोएक्टिव और पॉजिटिव इनिशिएटिव का आह्वान कर रहा हूं। यह है ग्रीन क्रेडिट इनिशिएटिव। यह कार्बन क्रेडिट की कॉमर्शियल मानसिकता से आगे बढ़कर जन भागीदारी से कार्बन सिंक बनाने का अभियान है। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप सब इससे जरूर जुड़ेंगे।
PM Modi urged wealthy nations to give technology to developing countries so they can fight climate change. The timing of COP28 is critical for global climate action. Globally, there are record-breaking heat waves, unprecedented wildfires, floods, storms and droughts as a result of climate change. According to the UN report, much more work has to be done to achieve the objectives of the historic Paris Agreement. COP28 presents a critical opportunity to put the world on a more sustainable path.
And let's now move to Sri Lanka, which is attempting to build climate change resilience while navigating its worst financial crisis in decades. Sri Lanka's President Ranil Wickremesinghe has said that Colombo will focus on green financing tools, including debt for nature swaps, as it attempts to reach the net zero target. Wickremesinghe has also said that the island nation needs $100 billion to become a net zero emitter by 2040. A report.
Greenhouse gases increase global temperatures by trapping extra energy in the Earth's atmosphere. The United Nations had called for countries to advance their net zero goals in order to prevent the growing climate disaster. Net zero means no longer adding to the total amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The island nation, Sri Lanka, is also attempting to build climate change resilience while navigating its worst financial crisis in decades. Sri Lanka's President Ranil Wickremesinghe has said that Colombo will focus on green financing tools, including debt for nature swaps, as it attempts to reach the net zero target. Wickremesinghe has said that Sri Lanka needs $100 billion to become a net zero emitter by 2040.
Green finances, we are into it, which includes debt for nature swaps. But we will also have to find a fair amount of investments if Sri Lanka is to achieve its targets, and we are trying to go in for net zero, if possible by 2040. If you can find the money, we require about $100 billion over this period. Some will come from investors who are interested in it, and I think we have an early start compared to others, and we will be inviting foreign investments. Rest, let's hope our economy is picked up and we have sufficient money to put into it.
President Wickremesinghe has announced plans for a new committee and an energy transition law. The proposed committee and new legislation, according to a statement from the President's office, demonstrate a commitment to a comprehensive decision-making process for new energy projects.
Some will come from investors who are interested in it, and I think we have an early start compared to others, and we will be inviting foreign investments. Rest, let's hope our economy is picked up and we have sufficient money to put into it. We hope to put two proposals out. Actually, there will be three. Two are regional. One is the tropical belt. Tropical belt has virtually 40% of the world. It has the largest number of forests. 2030 we will have about 50% of the world population. So let's fix it in the tropical belt. That also has an impact elsewhere.
India and Sri Lanka signed 6 energy agreements recently, including the construction of an oil pipeline between the two countries, electricity grid interconnections, and cooperation in the renewable energy sector. India is already connected to Bangladesh and Nepal via power transmission lines, and hence the same model can work with Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka will be able to take advantage of India's low-cost oil sourcing and processing, and will be able to pay for the oil in rupees, thus alleviating its balance of payments crisis.
We feel that Sri Lanka has potential for export of renewable energy. We are having connectivity with India for this purpose, but there also seems to be a lot of excess capacity as far as green hydrogen is concerned. We are working on it. I think we can easily be an exporter of green hydrogen.
At the UN Climate Summit, which is being held in Dubai from 30th November to December 12th, Sri Lanka will present 2 regional proposals. The country hopes that these will center on connecting nations in the tropical belt to work together to combat climate change and promote the Indian Ocean as carbon sink. By 2050, it's predicted that nearly 19 million Sri Lankans could reside in regions that could develop into moderate or severe hotspots for floods or droughts.
The Islamabad High Court has acquitted former Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in the Avonfield reference. The case was linked to Nawaz Sharif and his family's purchase of upscale London flats. Sharif, who arrived in Pakistan after 4 years of self-imposed exile in London, is eyeing to become the Prime Minister of Pakistan for a 4th time. Meanwhile, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf said that Imran Khan had named one of his lawyers as his temporary stand-in to contest the position of party head. A report.
The visuals from the Islamabad show a number of people chanting Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif as the convoy of 3-time Premier of Pakistan passes by. Islamabad High Court overturned the conviction of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in a corruption case on November 29, removing one of the many obstacles for him to qualify to stand in elections in February next year. Sharif was acquitted in the Evenfield reference, a case in which he was sentenced to 10 years in prison in 2018. The case was linked to Nawaz Sharif and his family's purchase of upscale London flats.
मियां साहब के जो एवनफील्ड रेफरेंस के जो केसेस थे उसमें आज मियां साहब को जो है बरी किया गया है इस्लामाबाद हाई कोर्ट से, ठीक हो गया। और जो केसेस हैं वो एज इट इज़ अभी तक लगे हुए हैं, उनका आगे फैसला किया जाएगा।
Sharif, who arrived in Pakistan after 4 years of self-imposed exile in London, is eyeing to become the Prime Minister of Pakistan for a fourth time. To qualify to stand in elections scheduled for February 8, 2024, Sharif needs another such 7-year sentence and a lifelong ban on holding any public office to be removed. Nawaz Sharif expressed gratitude to the Allah after being acquitted in the case by the court.
अल्लाह का शुक्र है जी, मैंने तो मामलात को अल्लाह पे छोड़ा था, अल्लाह ताला ने आज सुरखुल किया है, शुक्र उस मालिक का बहुत शुक्र है।
On the same day that Nawaz Sharif was acquitted by the court, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, the party of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, made a significant announcement. PTI said that Imran Khan had named one of his lawyers as his temporary stand-in to contest the position of party head. Lawyer Gohar Khan officially announced his nomination to media in Islamabad.
I'm speechless. लेकिन आज मैं सिर्फ इतना ज़रूर कहता हूँ कि मेरे पास अल्फाज बिल्कुल नहीं है खान साहब के शुक्रिया अदा करने का, या जो उन्होंने एतमाद किया मेरे ऊपर, या मेरे ज़िले के ऊपर, या KPK के ऊपर, या हमारी पूरी टीम के ऊपर, इसका मेरे पास अल्फाज नहीं है शुक्रिया अदा करने के लिए। लेकिन मैं खान साहब के नॉमिनी नुमाइंदा जाननशीन के हैसियत से हूँगा। PTI वही है जो खान साहब की है। खान साहब लीडर है, चाहे वो जेल के अंदर है चाहे वो जेल के बाहर है। खान साहब लीडर चेयरमैन थे, चेयरमैन है और इंशाअल्लाह ताहयात चेयरमैन रहेंगे, ये फैसला हो चुका है। मैं उस वक्त तक इस सीट पे अपनी जिम्मेदारियां निभाऊंगा जब तक खान साहब वापस अपनी सीट पे बाइज्जत तौर पे वापस नहीं आते, और इंशाअल्लाह वो दिन दूर नहीं होगा जब वो बड़े असूख के साथ इंशाअल्लाह ताला वापस आएंगे।
PTI needs a new chairman to hold elections scheduled for December 2nd to elect a new party chairman and other office bearers, as Imran Khan, being a convict, is barred from taking part. The Election Commission of Pakistan recently gave the party 20 days to hold the intra-party elections.
And time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent. Not just a religion, but a way of living that guides humanity towards a more compassionate and interconnected world. Today in our show, we'll give you a glimpse of the recently held General Assembly meeting of the International Buddhist Confederation held in India's capital, New Delhi, which was joined by monks from across 26 countries. Let's take a look.
The diversity of India is its speciality, whether it be cultural, regional, linguistic or religious diversity. All these together make India stand out from the rest of the world, wherein religions play a pivotal role in guiding humanity towards a more compassionate, mindful and interconnected world. Buddhism is one such fastest growing religion in India, which is striving to guide mankind and the world with its noble thoughts and ideas to attain enlightenment in the face of contemporary challenges. Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, also called Buddha, in India over 2500 years ago. Gautam Buddha was born in 623 BC in the Lumbini province of southern Nepal. In the search for the answers to his problems of suffering, Buddha dwelled in many places and eventually got enlightenment underneath the Bodhi tree in Gaya in India's Bihar state. In a bid to carry on Buddha's legacy, recently the International Buddhist Confederation, IBC, a global Buddhist platform, carried out its General Assembly meeting in New Delhi, which was joined by senior monks from across 26 countries.
Buddhism is an Indian tradition, an Indian religion, an Indian philosophical tradition, we could say. The teachings that they have conveyed in America have all come from Lord Buddha, who came from India.
Buddhism is one of the world's oldest religions with a rich history and tradition and has traveled to many countries so far, such as Myanmar, Mongolia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand and China. As Buddhism traveled, it adopted the values and traditions of the countries within itself as well as its original essence, and which is why today we see sects like the Theravada, Mahayana, Hinayas and the Vajrayana. The IBC in a way amplifies Buddhism thoughts and their integrated perspectives to maintain peace and harmony by bringing both Buddhist and non-Buddhist organizations together.
The world that we are living now, is very complex. There is a lot of violence. We live in very difficult times. But we have an advantage that the Buddha's teachings are universal. And so we need to take what is universal from the Buddha's teachings and bring this to different parts of the world and teach people. One of the principles of Buddhism is non-violence.
Buddhists believe that the universe is governed by natural laws and the only way to attain nirvana or enlightenment is kindness, generosity and forgiveness. Though Buddha's principle of non-violence always remains the core part of the goal of Buddhism.
I see Buddhism connecting me with my country, which is, I'm German, but I live in the UK at the moment. I see it connecting me that a philosophy that originated in India has changed my life as a German, means that Buddhism is something that can apply and improve the quality of life and the life of every human being on earth. Buddhism has so much to teach us. We have the concept of wisdom and compassion as the two legs on which Buddhism stands.
The two-day IBC event brought together patriarchs of Buddhist sanghs, senior monks and the Dhamma practitioners from across the world who have been associated with IBC since its founding days. The event was aimed at electing offices bearers of the world body for the next 3 years.
The General Assembly is a very important body. As you know, the International Buddhist Confederation is an international organization. So we have representatives from different countries, about 39 countries, 300 organizations, in order to enable them to have a participatory role and a sense of belonging to IBC, which is our core objective and aim, to bring the entire world, the Buddhist community together. We have formed this General Assembly.
The teachings of Buddhism not only inspire one to follow the path of righteousness, but also give a huge perspective on life and make living easier through its eightfold practices, including right intention, right livelihood, and right effort to attain nirvana, which is enlightenment.
India, the place of origin of Buddhism, has a close spiritual connection to the faith. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.